This time, the internet tried to come for Corey Kenshin, but it honestly fell super flat. But it does open up a conversation about how we view celebrities, why we're so quick to label people, why we're so quick to drag people, and exactly why do people attempt to defame somebody so quick in such a hurry. For those of you who don't know, Corey Kenshin is probably one of the most beloved YouTubers on the internet. Plays video games, very cheerful, jovial guy, takes a lot of hiatuses, but for the most part, worldwide, honestly, his image is squeaky clean. Now, there has been multiple times where they've tried to cancel Corey Kenshin, but those have also fell kind of short.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Come here. Well, not too many people, because I'm coming back, so I don't need y'all flooding her schedule.
Okay?
Right, exactly.
He needs his spot. Period.
Come
Perfect.
up here.
Perfect twist. Get with me.
High five.
High five.
Yeah, don't leave me hanging. There we go.
Okay.
That's it. That's the crime, ladies and gentlemen. A 2-second glance. And somehow, a bunch of unemployed Twitter warriors decided this was a reason to call Corey out.
I can't believe
People
he
started
did
pulling
that.
accusations straight out of thin air, saying she's a minor, saying what Corey did was inappropriate, saying he made her uncomfortable.
Yeah, he was essentially getting packed up for looking at some ass, I guess. I don't even understand what's so bad about that.
I mean, bro, she put it in front of me. I'm sorry.
People gonna look.
I'm
And there's been
sorry.
some other attempts, but this time the attempt seemed to be much more serious. A Twitter user and TikTok user named PandaXX Official took to Twitter and took to TikTok to bash Corey Kenshin to all high hell. It was a 3-part breakdown about all the things that she faced while being with Corey Kenshin. Part 1 was a sheer breakdown.
All right.
And
I didn't want to do this, but let me just let him talk.
personal showcase of hurt, betrayal, and disgust towards Corey, the realization and explanation of victimhood, explaining how hurt the manipulation felt, the trust he broke and took advantage of, and the twist of his image as a God-fearing man versus the monster she experienced that showcased apathy and used her and cheated on her, lied, and said sister. Part 2 was the DM revealing and showcasing of him trying to get back at her a year later while openly just being a dickhead, wanting and devaluing her and throwing their history in her face as a gotcha / trying to get back in. There was also
On
him not
Discord?
realizing and denying this fact and, you know, trying to use other manipulation tactics. And then there was the revelation that she had cancer and that he gave the most passive aggressive response to her saying that she had cancer. Pretty aggressive cancer, type 3, you know. And then the third and final claims were that there was an ex that stepped forward and said that she was a part of the situation. Corey ended up getting his friends to stalk the girl, apparently, and a messy breakup stuff between 2 consenting adults that were in a relationship. And sure, there was some toxicity in there, but the thing that got a lot of people in an uproar on the internet is that they believe that Corey Kenshin was essaying the woman. I mean, they literally went out there and said that Corey Kenshin had done some of the worst things in the world to this woman and that he would be labeled a rapist or a essayer for the rest of his life. And it got so bad that the woman in question had to take to the internet to clarify his actions, to say that he did not do any of these things and was wondering why people were saying this stuff about him. Now, because Corey Kenshin is the icon that he is, one of the more beloved internet figures who to this point has not had any real scandal about him. It's just a bunch of made up stuff. This one would seem to be one of the more damaging things, but this would not be any different than any other of the fabled content creators from the past couple years. So the internet was ready, willing, and able to run with this, except the Corey Kenshinites. It went so far as to create a Twitter account for this woman, a fake Twitter account, might I add, and post stuff about her, the situation, nitpick who she is, call her a whore, and all these other names. So come morning, she had realized that she had made a mess, and she had to clean it up by making a live video about what happened. She clarified the fact that she didn't cheat, that Corey never cheated, that she didn't want to cancel Corey, she just ultimately wanted an apology, and then that the screenshots look weird because they were taken off of 2 different devices, etc., etc. As you can tell by now, most of this situation is a total nothing burger as far as the internet is concerned. This is just 2 people in a relationship with each other that have a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on. And we will get to holding this woman accountable because the way that she posed this was really bad, to be quite honest with you. But at the end of the day, emotional person, cancer, felt like she was manipulated. She made a mistake, to be honest with you. Now, with Corey's name seemingly being cleared, there still was a couple of lingering things to kind of assess and walk through that he potentially needs to address in a future video, or the community needs to have serious conversations about.
I'm still on.
Then I woke up again and it was all.
Did you watch me sleep? Did you watch me sleep?
Yeah, I actually did something to you while you were asleep too.
What?
I'm sorry. I just got this fetish that I do, you know.
What?
I didn't hurt you. You're good, right?
What you do?
I know Corey's joking. I know he's trolling. He's trolling.
Don't worry about it.
Corey?
Good.
Yeah,
Corey, what
he was
did you
trolling.
do?
He was trolling.
Look, this camera out of my face. I didn't do anything.
He did something, and I'm gonna find out on the next episode of Nami Vlog.
Dragon Ball Z, where you going with this?
Bacon avocado. I dated Corey Kenshin, and he hurt me really bad, and I'm not
Bro, can this go any faster?
You can kind of see now how people thought he had essayed her, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a crazy
yeah.
joke to make. Now, maybe
Yeah,
not
that
on
was
the
a
surface
wild
level,
joke to
it's
make, I'm
too
not gonna
crazy
lie.
because, hey, people joke like that. That's pretty dark humor. But if you add to the fact that she is the survivor of being essayed before it, that does make it very distasteful. That does make it weird. That does make it out of pocket at best. I can't even defend that, to be quite honest with you. But the real question is, why was the community ready to run with such a false narrative or claim that he had essayed her? Now, it's clear to me that they are both laughing in the video, and I think Corey Kenshin, of all people, would know good and doggone well enough to not admit to essaying her on camera. I could be wrong, though. You know, we've fallen for these celebrities time and time again. And because the internet doesn't read, ultimately we're going to end up in a situation like today where people are jumping to conclusions left, right, and sideways. Now, do I think that she should be held accountable for the way that she opposed it? Absolutely. I know she did a pretty good job of clearing it up by saying straight up, hey, he did not essay me, but we can see how that looks. That if you wanted to convey the message that you put as the caption, you probably should have put it a different way, but you cleaned it up. So, hey. But because this is the internet, people are wanting more always. And by wanting more, they want more pitchforks just as much as they want more explanation.
Please read all 3 parts of what Homegirl's talking about when it comes to Corey. You guys just cannot spam the letters SA like that. I understand that there are things that she was talking about related to that, but that's not really talking about Corey. She's really exposing Corey about his verbal abuse and heavy, and I mean heavy sociopathic and narcissistic behaviors. That's what she's really exposing him about. Don't just type the letters SA. That's that. If you read carefully those 3 parts, she's talking about how Corey is a very heavy verbal abuser and very heavy sociopath and narcissist, which is still extremely upsetting to see. I understand that people got, some skeletons in the closet, especially from Corey when, he proclaims to be a Christian man. He tries to proclaim the word. Now, all people are flawed, but the one thing I wish Corey could have talked about was him being transparent about those situations instead of acting like he's a perfect human being.
So now that we've cleared up the accusations that Corey Kenshin is some sort of essayer, rapist, something that would easily get him packed up off of the internet, the examination is now turned into, well, is he this sociopathic, narcissist, verbal abuser that is now being laid on his jacket? Because I think that those are very heavy terms too, especially when you are then in the same TikTok questioning his Christian identity and wanting him to be, more open with you as a member of his community or a consumer of his content, which I think is a lot to ask for. But nonetheless, out of every screenshot that I read, I don't see trying to get through manipulation. I just see a horny man doing horny man things. And sure, he might be reminiscing over old times or talking about how they were in the past or that so-and-so was a good fuck, etc., and he knew she was in a relationship or might be in some sort of relationship. I just don't classify that as some sort of manipulation tactic. I think we've learned a bunch of words on the internet and started putting them around, situations and things like that. And I think that that's wrong, especially when they're coming from somebody who is highly emotionally invested in a situation, like the person who is putting out the screenshots. And don't want to take away anything from her because she is more emotionally invested than me, you, or anybody else involved in the situation, really just consuming the information. But for us, we should probably look at this more objectively and say what is a spade and what's not a spade is probably a jack or a club or, I don't know, a heart or something else. The same thing about him belittling her cancer diagnosis. In that screenshot, it is just a one-off screenshot text message. I don't know what happened after that. I don't know what happened before that. I don't know if y'all talked on the phone. I can't say based off of that, but I do believe that that was strategically used. That photograph specifically, that screenshot was strategically used in order to invoke emotion out of us as consumers of the content.
All a woman needs today is an allegation. Zero evidence, no police reports, just a simple allegation is enough to get people who really never really rocked with you to start voicing how much they've never really rocked with you. Let's cover a couple things.
Right, and you could
Being
tell. He ain't
a
even spell
bad
anyone right.
ex-boyfriend is not a crime. Being framed in someone else's mind as a manipulator is not a crime. And wanting to have schmecks with someone you've had schmecks with before is not a crime. Although all of you weirdos who don't get laid want everyone else to think so. There was no essay. He's not a terrible person for wanting to sleep with someone he slept with before. And y'all are purposely misrepresenting the situation because you are thirsty for any form of attention.
Now, OP is going pretty hard, but there is a tendency for the community to take little to no evidence posted by people who are in usually closer proximity to the person or highly emotional states and run amok with a narrative and get as far as to naming them all things, all labels, stuff that conveys heavy on this person's character and reputation, things that can honestly not only get them canceled, because I don't believe in cancel culture, but get them in some sort of legal trouble or trouble with their families that are living lives perfectly fine and, you know, not experiencing these things in real life. The way that the internet is willing to idolize, but the same way tear down somebody with such mob-like and ravenous behavior is a perfect representation of the duality of man. I don't know what it is about our emotional states or our mental capacity for idolization of other humans that drives us to be like this, but it has to be studied. And what's more interesting is the people who all of a sudden feel as if this is the time to hop on some sort of bandwagon because it is cool. I saw so many tweets and so many pictures and videos of people that always knew that Corey Kenshin was off, always knew something was wrong with him. I even saw one tweet that was like, I never heard anything bad about him, so I always knew something was wrong with him. He was
Yeah, people love doing that, bro. They love to like hate on people when they find something bad about them happens. Like they love doing that. Even if they had nothing to talk about before with someone, they just love hating. People love hating other people. I just don't understand. Like people love hating other people. Like it's so ridiculous. People just love hating each other.
Never in a scandal, so there was always something wrong with him. Well, how could you even come to that conclusion? That doesn't even make any sense. This is the problem with creating a parasocial community. At some point, your real life has to be your real life, and you want to do real things as a content creator, but you can't because you're getting called out for being a bad boyfriend. And hell, let's say that there's some merit to Corey being a bad boyfriend. I don't think that he's a nasty individual for going to get his hair braided and recording it and trying to promote that woman's brand, because why did he have to come out with an apology for getting his hair braided and staring at some fat ass?
If I do come back to get
you did not
my
have to
twist
say that.
redone, we can't record it. Destiny, I was trying to hit your TikTok next. I don't know if we can do that. My community, and I'm not even gonna say my community, I don't know where this started. I don't know.
And I don't think that there's any way to really keep
no damn
these
apology,
people in
bro.
the middle. Maybe
Don't
it's
make
the
no
type
damn
of
apology,
content you
bro.
put out. Maybe it's the wording that you say about certain things, the phrases that you say, et cetera, how often you're seen online, how often you've been in somebody's life. I haven't really narrowed it down as to how you can be a creator without creating some sort of parasocial relationship with your audience. But these are the downsides and negatives of it. And I do believe that it's a twofold conversation because content creators know what they're doing and they know how to twist and manipulate storylines or tell specific things to get people more hooked and engaged, but also there has to be some sort of mental help for these people in that big, beautiful bill that Trump wrote. Look, I don't know what's going to happen with Corey Kenshin. I hope that people aren't really hell-bent on canceling him for a potential joke and then wanting some box. Hell, I'll even be on your side and say that he was manipulative and tone deaf. Okay, I hope that they don't cancel Corey Kenshin from 8 years ago for that situation. What I do know is that people are propping him up like a godlike figure. And there's a lot of content creators that are out there like that. But please, for the love of everything holy, you are going to set yourself up for failure if you keep doing this. If you keep propping up these people, once you find out that they are regular people, then you're going to lose your mind when that day of reckoning comes along. Because I can guarantee you, every male content creator and women content creators has looked at their hairstylist with the fat ass and has also hit up their ex for sex. That's just not a crazy thing to do.
Yeah, that's true, bruh. Yeah. Yo, yeah, I didn't have much to say on that for real. I was learning some things, you know.